Hello, and this is the baseball version of my 2 cents. It's the beginning of the year 2018, and this is my St. Louis Cardinal review of the off season. We still got a little off season, about 6 weeks ago before spring training, 5 or 6 weeks. We'll go over what the Cardinals have done since my last video at the end of the season, where I was tremendously frustrated with the St. Louis Cardinals and a season that just nothing seemed to have gone right. Now, during that video, we discussed the Cardinals needed to get a thumper, somebody in the middle of the lineup. They did do that. They didn't get the guy that I necessarily wanted. I wanted Stanton. I thought Stanton was the guy we needed to get. Obviously, he had a monster contract. Well into the 2027 or so, 10 years or 8 years more on the contract. It was worth one hell of a lot of money. So, and the Cardinals obviously made a very good offer to the Marlins. The Marlins accepted, but Stan wouldn't waive the trade, no trade clause. So, and then he ended up with the Yankees, which is fine, as long as he's not in the National League. So plan B for the Cardinals, and I like this too, it was Marcell Ozuna. He had 37 home runs last year, good young player. The only problem that I have with Ozuna is he the real deal? He could be. I think he is. He's young, but we only got him for 2 years. So we really have to, if he is for real, the Cardinals need to lock him up. Lock him up for at least another couple years after that. For 3 more years after that, something like that. We can't afford to be looking for a hitter every 2 years. But Ozuna in the middle of the lineup is going to make a tremendous difference on this team. It makes everybody else around him better. You can't build a team around the guys that the Cardinals had last year. They didn't have the guy in the middle, and we had nobody that could fill that role. And a guy like Ozuna will make everybody around him better. The top of the lineup seems to be fairly set. With Pham and Fowler and Carpenter. When those three on in front of Ozuna, it could be a very, very big offensive year. I think offensively, from a offensive standpoint, I think the Cardinals are okay right now. I would like to see him make one more move. I wouldn't mind seeing him bring in a third baseman or a first baseman. But it's got to be the right guy and the right money. There's a lot of talk about Hosmer at first base. So then what do you do with Carp? You move him over to third. Put Jerko in a substitute role, which, Jerko is probably a better player, as a part-time guy rather than a full-time guy. But Jerko was not a bad player in a full-time role either. But wherever you put Carpenter in the field defensively, you're going to be suspect. I don't think he's terrible anywhere. I just don't think he's very good anywhere. If you bring Hosmer in at first base, realistic, what are you getting? His glove maybe is going to be better than Carpenter's probably, but offensively, no, I don't think. I don't think he's that much better than Carpenter. So I don't know about Hosmer. A lot of people talk about Moustakas, bring Moustakas in at third base. If the money's right, these guys want a tremendous amount of money. Hosmer wanted $20 million. Now, if the money's right, yeah, bring Hosmer in. If Moustakas' price drops down, and I'm not sure even what he's asking, but the years and the money's got to be right. Then I would have no problem bringing either one of those guys in. But it can't be for the kind of money that they're talking about right now. Now, we're in the middle, getting close to the middle of January now, and these guys haven't been signed. So, their prices are probably going to go down. Now, if they drop down into a range where the Cardinals can feel comfortable, I would have no problem with them grabbing one of those guys. But we can't wait around too long if you're going to do something. So, I think the outfield's fine. Fowler, Pham, Ozuna, I would imagine the two reserve outfielders are going to be Bader and Grichuk, barring a trade where Grichuk or Bader go somewhere. Uh, so that would be probably the five outfielders. I would say that our infield, barring no more deals, will be Carpenter, Wong, DeYoung, Jerko, Garcia, Martinez, Jose Martinez, which when you talk about bringing Hosmer in, what does that do for Jose Martinez? Now he hit pretty good. He hit good last year and probably deserves a shot. He who knows? Who knows what you have there? I mean, he hit well all year last year and probably deserves more playing time. So maybe that's what the Cardinals are thinking. Why should we go out and pay Hosmer $20 million or whatever they want when we got Martinez sitting here and we can shift Carpenter over to third, put Martinez at first, see what happens, and so I really think the Cardinals are probably done with their everyday lineup for the off season, unless they can bring in like Josh Donaldson. Machado thing, that's not going to happen. Manny Machado, the Cardinals are linked to him. I'm sure they went in and asked what's up, and but they will not trade away the boatload of prospects to Baltimore for 1 year of Manny Machado, and it's not going to happen. No way. The only way Machado ends up in St. Louis is if he agrees to an extension. And he's not going to do that. He's got, I don't know who his agent is. I think it's Boris or Daniel Lozano or one of those guys that, he's going to explore free agency, and he should. So he's not coming. That's not going to happen. And to be quite honest with you, for 1 year, I don't want to give a boatload of prospects up for 1 year. So not for him. Now, Donaldson, on the other hand, I would give a couple, not many, prospects because he's not Machado, but he's 32, so he's not young, he's not old either, but he's got a few years left. Donaldson's somebody that I would maybe throw a prospect or two for, try to get him to sign a 2 or 3 year extension, and bring him in and play third base. Now he's a good defensive player. He's a home run hitter. He would be a nice addition. If you could get Donaldson and you could get him to sign an extension and not have to give up a boatload of prospects, I would bring Donaldson in. Other than that, I don't think you're going to see the Cardinals do much offensively. There's just not a lot of third basemen out there. I mean, you could maybe make a case the Cardinals may bring in somebody like I don't know, Adrian Gonzalez. I mean, he's going to get league minimum because everybody else is paying his money, the Dodgers and the Braves. Maybe bring him in. You might have something left. But I don't think that kind of thing happens until we get to spring training to see, just what we have and see if Martinez and Carpenter and everybody's all still on the same page and same ability levels. And I'm sure Martinez probably played some winter ball, so I really think we're probably set on the offensive end. The problem lies with the pitching. Starting pitching, right now we're looking at Wainwright, Martinez, Waka, Weaver, and Mikolas. They got from Japan. He'd been an American pitcher and went over to Japan for a couple of years. Figured it out over there. Apparently, came back here. Cardinals signed him, and apparently they're high on him. Now, I don't know anything about him, but obviously they've seen something change from when he was here before to the time while he was in Japan to back over here again. So that's the starting rotation. I'm a little bit hesitant to be okay with it. I have complete faith in Wainwright that he will bust his ass to try and get himself in a position to compete. I just don't know if his body's going to cooperate. So that worries me. Weaver's still young. That also worries me. But I think Weaver's the real deal. Waka's got so much ability, and it just seems like he can't get through that third time through the lineup. Martinez is due to bust out and have the monster year that we all been waiting for. I mean, I think Martinez is fine. And Waka and Weaver, those five. So starting rotation, I would like to see them try and get another starter because in the bullpen, I think there's still a problem. We don't have a reliever, a closer. Now, the Cardinals have been linked to trying to get Kalume out of Tampa Bay. Kalume, I can't stand the way the guy wears his hat, but he is a top-notch reliever. Would like to have him. I don't know why Tampa Bay would trade him, to be honest with you. And then there's been talks about Kalume and Archer. Cardinals trying to get both of them. Oh, I'd love that. They're both Kalume is cost controlled. Archer has a very reasonable contract. He's young. He's a good pitcher. I don't know why the Tampa Bay would deal either one of them. They're going to rebuild. Both those guys are 29, I think. 27, 29, I think. Not sure of their age. But so maybe Tampa Bay doesn't think that by the time they get their team rebuilt that these guys will be ready or still be effective, and maybe that's what they're thinking about, why they might be thinking about moving them. If we could get those two guys, I would give up a boatload of minor leaguers for them. I would, especially Kalume. If we could get both of them, it'd be perfect because then you could shift Mikolas or Waino, if to the bullpen, whichever one's less effective. Now here's the problem: if we don't pick up a reliever, and then we got Addison Reed out there, he's a free agent. He's somebody that you could maybe envision in the closer role. But I don't know if the way things are moving, they're moving awful slow, and it just seems that the Cardinals are in no big hurry to throw a lot of money at a closer. And, to be quite honest, I don't blame them because closer money, bullpen money is scary. It just is. You throw money at the bullpen. Bullpens are so fickle; they're different every year. One year it could be the same guys. One year they're just lights out, and the next year they are the same guys and they're terrible. So you just never know. I mean, Cecil. We threw a boatload of money at Cecil, and he was horrible. Now I sincerely hope he bounces back, but I don't know if he will. He was just horrible last year. The bullpen, unless we make some kind of a move, the bullpen is going to be, somewhat questionable. Now, I had it written down here somewhere, but we have a situation where we have some spots that need to be filled, and who's going to fill them? We don't have a closer, as I said before. So if we don't pick up a closer, so what's going to happen? Now they'll grab some guys towards the end of the winter to come in, on a minor league contract or to take a look at, but as far as the name closer, if we don't get one, what do we do? Well, they got a couple of options, I guess. They could move, in my opinion, they could move Waka into the closer role. If they did that, they're going to have to come up with another starter because we're already a little thin at starting, at least while Alex Reyes, who's not going to be pushed until around May, so he won't be pitching until May, stated out in extended spring training, so he's not going to be pushed. So Waka, if we put him in the closer role, we got to put somebody into the starting rotation. Now, who would that be? Well, you can make a case for Jack Flaherty. You can make a case for a few other guys in the minors, but then you're counting on young kids early in the season. You could also just do it by committee. They picked up Luke Gregerson in the offseason. He could close maybe for the first month, and then Reyes comes in. Maybe you put Reyes at closer. That way you keep his innings down. But, you're talking about closer. You're talking about maybe working him 2-3 days in a row. Is that the smart thing to do with a guy coming off Tommy John? I don't know. But he would be a lights-out closer. He throws that well, or at least he did before Tommy John. So that's why losing Alcantara for Ozuna did kind of suck, because he was also the kind of guy that could throw hard. Don't know if he was ready for the major leagues yet, but he was the kind of guy you could envision in a closer role. I do think that the Cardinals will re-sign Trevor Rosenthal after all this is said and done. While he's rehabbing Tommy John, I just think that they released him so that they wouldn't have to go to arbitration with him. I think they'll sign him to some kind of a contract, that identifies the fact that he's got Tommy John and he's going to be getting paid just to rehab, and it's similar to what they did with Carpenter when Chris Carpenter, when they had him on Tommy John, and Adam Wainwright, I think, what he was injured, signed a I don't remember if he signed a contract or not, but during his injury, but I think they will, unless somebody outbids us. Now that could happen. He's 27 years old. Rosenthal throws hard, and if he's still throwing hard when Tommy John's over, we could lose him. But I do think that not for 2018, but for 2019, we could have Rosenthal back. I think they'll re-sign him. So, we got some question marks. To me, the bullpen looks like it's going to be, Tuivala could be in the mix, I guess. If I got this figured right, if we don't make another move, as I said before, the roster looks to me it's going to be similar to Yachty and Kelly for catchers, Carpenter, Wong, DeYoung, Jerko, Garcia, and Martinez infield. Outfielders are Pham, Fowler, Ozuna, Grichuk, and Bader. In the starting rotation, Martinez, Walker, Weaver, Waino, and Mikolas. And in the bullpen, Cecil, Lyons, Brebbia, Gregerson, and Bowman. And then you've got probably 2 spots left in the bullpen to figure out. You got to figure out who's going to be the closer. And if you move a starter over, then you got to figure out who's going to start. Lyons could start. You can move Lyons into the rotation, I suppose, if you move Walker, but he'd be a question mark. I mean, he's a good pitcher, and he started before. Now you got some guys, Tuivala, Sheriff, Myers, Gant, guys that could, from the minors that could come up and fill those roles. But I'm kind of hoping that they do make a couple of more moves. You also have Reyes and Flaherty. Flaherty's pitched a few games in the major leagues. Reyes, if he's fixed, could be the guy that makes the difference. I would be a lot more comfortable if we picked up Addison Reed, if somehow we got Kalume. But I have a feeling the Cardinals are not going to throw money at the closer role, so they're not going to throw a lot of money at Addison Reed. If he falls back into a reasonable range, I think Addison Reed will be the guy they try to get. If they can get Kalume and Archer for the prospects that they want to give up, I think they would do that. And like I said before, if we could get Donaldson and get him signed to an extension, I think they would bring him in. But I don't see anything else happening, especially now that Longoria has gone to the Giants. I don't see us being able to make a deal with Tampa Bay. I just don't know why they would trade those two. Those guys are both cost controlled. So I will probably do another Cardinal video just prior to spring training once we finalize who's going to spring training, try and figure it all out. I think we're better this year than last. Defensively, I don't know if we're better. We're going to be better in the outfield. We're going to be a lot better in the outfield defensively. In the infield, we're not going to be good defensively. DeYoung's okay. Wong is pretty good defensively, I think. Carpenter's average at best. Jerko's maybe a little above average at third. I don't know. So, I mean, infield defense will improve, I think, with Oquendo in the mix. So, and our base running should improve with McGee around. So, hopefully, by my next video, probably do it in February sometime. Hopefully, we'll have some more answers, and we can look forward to a 100-win Cardinal season and World Series. That's it for Cards Talk today. That's my 2 cents. And leave me a message or email me, m1ironmike@yahoo.com, or leave a message on Facebook. And share this video if you want. Talk to you later.